What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in today's video, I'm gonna share with you what you need to do to be successful in real estate. But the truth is, I really believe this will be one of, if not the most important videos that I ever make, because if you follow the steps in this video, I can promise you, you're going to be successful in anything. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, I've been investing in real estate for the last 9 years. I currently own 162 units of rental real estate, which are valued somewhere north of $25 million. I also run a sales force that this last year did over 27 million in sales. And then I also come and share all of these experiences with you here on the YouTube channel. Now, this video I'm probably more excited about than any other video because it's something that once I figured it out, it completely altered the course of my life because I was able to set a goal and then actually reach that goal. And the thing that's tricky is a lot of people will go, they'll set goals and then they'll fall short, or they'll lose momentum, or they'll get bored, or they'll run into whatever that keeps them from reaching that goal. And I really believe that the things that I'm gonna talk about in this video are really going to help you to become better at real estate investing, and just better at running a business and running your life. Now, anytime someone says they have the key for your success, a huge red flag should go up because you hear that a lot. But when you look at any successful person, the things I'm gonna talk about today are things that they have applied, but unfortunately, I don't think they're things that people talk about because a lot of times, I don't know, they just get overlooked. The only thing that I ask you to do in this video is remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And with all of that said, let's jump into it. I wanna start with an experience I had probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I'd gone out, I'd knocked doors, I'd sold pest control, and I'd been pretty successful. I'd made a couple $100,000 over the course of a couple years, and I had a lot of money in the bank, and I was trying to figure out what to do with it. Now, most people that follow the channel know that this was right around the time I started getting into real estate. What they don't know is I also started a business that failed hard. Now, what this business was is I had a buddy that owned a restaurant, and he had an opening in a space right next to his restaurant. And I connected with him and he said, hey, I really think another restaurant would do well right here. I'm close, I can manage both of them. It's gonna absolutely kill it. Now, without even thinking about it, I was pumped out of my mind. And the restaurant that we started made salads and acai bowls. We had our business plan. We had all the different providers we were ready to connect with. We went in, we got the space, we did the renovation, and we were ready to rock and roll. We hired what we thought were going to be the right people, and we started a salad and acai shop. Now, at first, what happened is we launched it and we didn't have the right people in the right places. So on opening day, I'm down there, I'm excited to see it going, and systems are not in place. We are not making salads quick. I jump in, my wife jumps in, the other owner that was next door jumps in. We're whipping salads together. I don't know the recipes, even though I've spent a ton of time going through the process of picking what we thought were gonna be the perfect salads, the perfect acai bowls. We're not following any of the rules. We're extremely lucky no one died from salmonella or something else because food's flying everywhere. We've got this massive line. We're getting tons of complaints. And it was a total nightmare. And after this, we're like, crap, we gotta get this dialed in. We ran out of some of the food. We had too much of the other food. We're throwing food out. We are struggling because we're losing employees. We don't have good people in the right spaces. And so for the next couple months, we just struggled. We hired different people. We're trying to fill in the gaps. Every day I'm spending hours on end here. So I've got this salad shop that is losing me money, that's eating up tons of my time. I'm not giving attention to my sales force that had been extremely successful because I'm focused on this stupid salad shop. And this continued for months and months and months. Pretty soon we at least got on top of things, but I thought I had the right people in the right places. We're just breaking even every month, a lot of months losing money. And then I've got to take the sales force I put together and go out and sell pest control because I was still just managing a couple teams. So I pick up, I move out. When I move out, the numbers get worse and I'm getting reports. This business is causing me tons of stress, tons of sorrow. I'm losing money, I'm frustrated. And this went on for about a year of me losing money. And then finally I just pulled the ripcord. I said, hey, I'm done, we're done. Let's end this thing. And I bailed out of it. I tried to bail out as gracefully as I could. So my friends and family were like, what happened? And I'm like, oh, the thing.
Go, you know the thing.
And we wrapped up the business, and it was such a relief. Now, I lost thousands and thousands of dollars, and it was a very painful experience, but it taught me a lot of important principles. Now, a lot of people will talk about, oh, like you've got to push through opposition, you've got to do this, and you've got to do that. That's not what I learned. What I learned is that I needed to live intentionally, and that I needed to reverse engineer my life so that I wasn't taking on things that weren't important, and so that I had the right focus and I was making the right decisions with my end goal in mind. Let me explain. A lot of times people say they want to invest in real estate, but they don't really know why. A lot of people will start investing in real estate. They'll start flipping properties. They'll jump in and become a realtor, or they'll jump into whatever job they're into, and they're going to say, oh, this is it. This is where I can make money. This is where I can be successful. And they fall on their face. And the reason they fall on their face is because they haven't lived intentionally, and they haven't reverse engineered the life that they want. So let me explain. Every morning I wake up and I list out what I call my top 10. Now, I got this principle from what used to be a competitor with a different sales force that now has kind of become a buddy. His name's Casey Baugh, and he taught me this principle. He said every morning he doesn't have his goals that he looks at, he pulls them from memory and writes them down. And the first couple weeks when you write down your top 10, they're not going to come immediately. As a matter of fact, you're gonna have a different list every day. They're gonna be in different order every day. But as you do this every day, pretty soon you get it dialed in and you figure out what your top 10 really are. The other thing that'll hit you is the majority of your top 10, if you really step back, they all come back to you being happy. And I think a lot of times we forget that. We'll get caught up in money or fame or whatever else is there instead of what we're really in search of, which is just being happy, living a good life that's full of happiness. And so my top 10, I'll tell you right now, every day I do it. And currently on my top 10, the first couple things, they have to do with my wife. They have to do with my kids. They have to do with my spirituality. And then they go into my goals. Then they go into my financial goals. They go into my sales organization. They go into real estate. They go into YouTube. And I know what my top 10 are. And I think that if you've got 20, you're going to get off track because you can't keep track of 20. But I also think having your top 10 every single day, you start out your day pulling from memory what's most important, and then you structure your day around those things. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, Chandler, I watched this video to see what would make me successful in real estate or what would make me successful in my business. And I'm here to tell you, this is what's going to make you successful in your business or in real estate or whatever you're doing. But there's a lot more to come, so hang with me. So when you get your top 10 and you say, okay, most important thing for me is spending this much time with my kids every day, being able to go with this many dates per week with my wife, being able to travel this much in the year, and then being able to buy that Lamborghini, being able to buy that new home, being able to have this much in passive income so that I can do or have this. And then your list continues. And with my list, I've got goals for YouTube. I've got goals for real estate investing. I've got goals for my sales organization. But the most important things that are at the top, again, are my family, my relationships, my spirituality, those things that bring me happiness every day and how much time I get to put into those, how present I get to be in those. The other thing that I forgot to mention that's at the top of my list is my health, my diet, my workout. I'm sure a lot of you are saying, Chandler, this is like half your list, doesn't have to do with money, doesn't have to do with your business. How am I going to be successful in real estate if that's not even part of my list? Well, here's the deal. Once you have it dialed in, once it's the same every single day, then you need to reverse engineer and say, what do I need to do? What is my next best step? And I stole that from Brandon Turner, but what is my next best step to accomplishing these goals? Because if your goal is to spend half your day with your wife and kids, then you're going to need enough money to be able to afford the freedom to be able to do that, right? If you need to buy a Lamborghini, well, now you've got to reverse engineer that. So going backwards now, when I had this business fail, this was right, not exactly this way, but right when I started to say, hey, I need to make decisions that are in line with my top 10. And at this point in my life, I didn't have my top 10. The top 10's really helped, but I had my goals, right? I had a vision of the things I wanted. And so I needed to say, all right, how am I going to get these things? One of my big goals back then when this restaurant failed was I wanted to have $100,000 a year in passive income. Now, looking back, I would say my vision was very small back then, but that was important to me. And I looked at it and said, all right, I can't get $100,000 a year in passive income just from running a sales organization, because they're always going to need me. If something happens where I need to step out of that sales organization, where I can't go and knock doors or train sales reps every day, that's not going to have money continue to come in. So I need to find a way to get this $100,000 in passive income, so if I need to step away from it, I can have the life that I wanted. And that was my goal at the time. So I said, all right, if I take my sales money, how can I make this passive? I said, all right, there are lots of different things I can invest in. Started doing my research, found real estate. It aligned with my goals. It aligned with what I wanted. It was something that I could see myself being passionate about and excited about, because I've always liked real estate. I said, okay, how can I make this passive? If I buy a rental property, that's passive. How can I buy a rental property? Well, to buy a rental property, I need money. The property costs $100,000. I could spend cash, but yeah, okay, that sounds good. All right, I'm gonna buy a rental property. So first thing I did, spent $70,000, I bought a condo. Now the condo every month paid me, but here was the problem. That condo wasn't paying me great money. It was like $700 a month, and I had expenses on top of that with management and other things. And so I put $70,000 in to get a very small return. So now this is my original model. I've got my goals. I've reversed engineered it. I've started down the process, but now you have an opportunity to fine tune it. So I started doing research and I said, holy cow, I could get a loan from the bank on this same property and only need 25% down. And that's going to pay me a larger return on my money, because now I could buy 4 of these properties with $70,000 instead of just 1. Well, I added that piece into my reverse engineer. Now, a lot of this happened because I would do something and mess up and then be like, oh, there's a better way. What I want you to realize is I'm gonna show you how I got to where I'm at now, but you could get to where I'm at now if you reverse all of it at the beginning. If you have your top 10 and then you reverse engineer everything from the start, you can get to where you want to be a lot more quickly. So I now have this condo. I'm like, all right, now I'm going to buy with 25% down. All right. And I look and I say, okay, I want to speed up this process. I sped it up with financing and leveraging my money more on the properties. How could I speed it up more? Well, I can speed it up more by creating more of me to create a sales force that is bigger, that then makes me more money. It also helps them. That's something I like doing. I like training. I like taking care of sales reps. I like making more money. And then if I invest that money, that's going to help me scale my passive income. Well, pretty soon now I've been able to say, all right, for every dollar I have to invest, this is the return I can get with the kind of deals I find. So I dialed in how good of deals I'm buying. I dialed in how good my financing is. And for every part of it, I could continue to reverse engineer and tweak along the way so that I know, all right, if I get this many sales reps, I'm gonna be able to make this much because we're gonna sell this much pest control. That's gonna give me the ability to have this much money to invest. Every dollar I invest properly is going to give me this, and then you can just fine tune what you've reverse engineered to get your top 10. Now, as your top 10 evolves, you start checking things off the list. Well, now you have bigger goals, you have better goals, and your goals that might have stayed the same as far as, I want this time with my family, I want this time with my kids, maybe it gets bigger. Maybe you want more time to do that, or maybe you find other passions or other things on your top 10, and now you can reverse engineer all of it to get what you want. And I think the problem that people have is they're sitting there living their life and they're saying, I really want to have more money so I can buy real estate. And then they're like, yeah, I need more money, but I have a job that doesn't pay me more money. So I'll keep working the job and I'll never have that money. It's like, no, if this is the life you want, will this job ever work? Will this restaurant that Chandler started ever get me to my top 10? If no, then you need to cut it out and you need to reverse engineer what will get you there. Because you can either choose to live this life that you don't want because it's the life you've chosen because you didn't reverse engineer things, you didn't have your top 10, you didn't live intentionally. You can continue to do that, you can continue to live that crap life, or you can step back and you can say, all right, how can I reverse engineer this? What is my end goal? And how can I make it work? And if I'm doing things right now that don't get me to my end goal, then you need to quit them. And so if you're out there saying, Chandler, I want to be a more successful realtor. Chandler, I want to be a more successful real estate investor. Chandler, I want to be a more successful business owner. Well, first off, make sure that aligns with your top 10. Is that going to get you to your top 10? If it is, figure out how to reverse engineer your top 10 in the best way possible to get you there as quickly as possible. And a lot of times it's going to require patience, but here's the deal. If you're patient at a job you hate that doesn't align with your top 10 for 20 years, that patience does you no good because it didn't get you where you needed to be. Where alternatively for me, I was on a commission job and I said, hey, if I can be patient and I cannot have that $100,000 of passive income this year or year 2, but after 2 years, now I can get approved for loans. I'm going to work my butt off doing a job that's very difficult that I don't want to do forever. I don't want to knock doors my entire life. But if I can be patient through this time period, then that's going to help me to get to my place. It's going to help me to get my top 10. I'm going to reverse engineer it. I'm going to be able to buy the real estate I need. I'm going to have the passive income, and it's going to put me in the place that I want to be. And then you're living intentionally. Now you might have to do crappy things. You might be in a job you don't like. You might do things that you don't like. You might be uncomfortable. That's okay as long as it aligns with your plan that's been reverse engineered. Now I've said reverse engineered a lot in this video, but it's because people don't do it. They'll stay in the crap job and never get where they want because that crap job will never yield those results. If door-to-door sales couldn't have got me where I wanted to be in the time frame that I wanted to be there, I would have needed to quit that job. But I could see the vision, and then I just had to go, put in the hours, do something that was difficult that a lot of times I didn't want to do, and that could get me where I wanted to be. And then pretty soon my top 10 is bigger goals. And I can fine tune everything in the process and take the skill set I've acquired and, go for those bigger goals by tweaking things. And there might be a point where I say, you know what? Door-to-door sales no longer aligns. I've got the passive income I need, and I'm going to add this other arm for my top 10 because my top 10 has evolved, and that's okay. But you need to live intentionally. Now, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, but I really believe it. I believe this video is the most important video that I've ever made up to this point, because if you don't have your life aligned, if you don't know what you want so you can live intentionally, then it doesn't matter how to run numbers on a rental property. It doesn't matter how to sell better. It doesn't matter how to do any of that, because it's most likely not going to get you where you want to go if you don't know where you want to go and you haven't figured out if it's going to get you there. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And I look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.